There's a sound that almost nobody ever hears, and that silence is exactly what makes termites the most expensive pest in America. No buzzing, no scratching in the wall at night, no trail across the counter. Just a quiet patient chewing inside the wood of your home 24 hours a day for years, while everything on the surface looks perfectly fine. Tonight I'm going to tell you about a $3 ingredient that termites genuinely cannot tolerate, one that professionals themselves build into homes, why the most common things people do actually make an infestation worse, and the free habit that protects your house better than any product you can buy. But I'm going to start with the one piece of honesty you will not get from anyone trying to sell you something. Because with this particular pest, it's the truth that matters most. Here it is. Termites cause an estimated $5 billion in damage to American homes every single year, and most homeowners' insurance does not cover a penny of it because it's classified as preventable. And unlike a mouse or an ant, a serious termite infestation eating the structural wood of your house is not a DIY job, and I won't pretend otherwise. If you have active termites in your walls or your framing, you need a professional inspection and treatment. Full stop. Because the thing at stake isn't a clean pantry, it's whether your floor holds you up. So this video is about something more valuable than a quick fix. It's about understanding the enemy well enough to prevent it, to catch it early when it's cheap instead of late when it's catastrophic, and to know exactly what the cheap, real tools can and cannot do so that nobody ever sells you the wrong one. That knowledge is worth more than any spray. Let me start with a fact that explains why these things are so devastating. A mature termite colony can contain hundreds of thousands of individuals, some species well over 1 million, and they never sleep. They eat cellulose, the fiber in wood, around the clock, every day of the year. Now, individually, they're slow. It takes time for them to do real damage. But here's the unsettling part nobody tells you. The average colony can go undetected for years before any visible sign appears, quietly hollowing out beams from the inside while leaving a paper-thin shell of paint on the outside that looks completely normal. People discover them by accident. A vacuum cleaner punches through a baseboard. A door frame crumbles under a thumb. The damage was done in silence, and that silence is the whole danger. So why does this problem exist, and why your house? Here's the first hidden truth. The most destructive termites in America, subterranean termites, don't actually live in your house. They live in the soil, in huge colonies underground, and they travel up into your wood to feed and carry it back. Which means your home isn't their nest, it's their grocery store. And they reach it through the ground, which is why the spot where your house meets the soil is the entire battleground. They cannot tolerate open air and light. They dry out and die in it, so to cross from the soil into your wood across any exposed surface like concrete, they build little pencil-width tunnels of mud, called mud tubes, running up your foundation. Those mud tubes are the single most important sign in this whole video. A thin line of dried mud climbing your foundation wall is a termite highway, and most people walk past it for years thinking it's just dirt. And here's why your house specifically becomes the target. It comes down to two things they need: moisture and wood-to-ground contact. Termites need damp conditions, so anywhere your house stays wet is an invitation. The leaky spot under the kitchen, the dripping AC condensate line, the gutter that overflows against the foundation, the crawl space that never dries out, and anywhere wood touches soil directly is a literal bridge they walk right across. The deck posts sunk in the ground, the wooden porch step on the dirt, the firewoods stacked against the siding, the mulch piled 6 inches up the wall. You may have built them a bridge and turned on the water without ever knowing it. Now let's talk about why the common solutions fail, because this is where people waste money and sometimes make things genuinely worse. The first thing people reach for is a can of bug spray from the hardware store, and they spray the few termites they can see, or the visible mud tube. And here's the trap. You might kill a handful of workers, but you've done nothing to the colony of hundreds of thousands in the soil. And worse, termites can detect many repellent chemicals and simply avoid the treated area, rerouting around it to keep feeding on another part of your house. You didn't stop them, you just told them which door to stop using. The repellent spray can actually scatter the problem. The second thing people do is panic and assume the swarm they saw means the house is collapsing tomorrow. Let me destroy that myth and give you a useful one instead. Once or twice a year, usually in spring, a mature colony releases winged termites called swarmers. and people find a pile of them or a pile of discarded wings on a windowsill. It's alarming. But here's what it actually means. Swarmers are the colony's reproductive stage, flying out to start new colonies elsewhere. Finding swarmers or wings inside your home is one of the earliest reliable warnings you'll ever get. It's not the disaster, it's the smoke alarm. The people who recognize that sign and act save themselves a fortune. The people who vacuum up the wings and forget about it pay for it later. And the third failure is the most expensive of all, doing nothing because there's no obvious sign. Which brings us back to that silence. With most pests, the bug tells you it's there. Termites don't. And that's exactly why the prevention and early detection knowledge I'm about to give you is worth more than any treatment. So here's the question this whole video turns on. If the colony lives in the soil where you can't reach it, and repellent sprays just reroute them, and they work in total silence, what actually stops a termite? And what's this $3 ingredient that professionals themselves rely on? And the answer, this is the reveal, is a naturally occurring mineral salt called borate, specifically a compound called disodium octaborate tetrahydrate. But you don't need the chemistry name. You need to know that borate is the same family as the humble borax in the laundry aisle, that a treatment concentrate can cost just a few dollars to make a batch, and that this is not some internet folk remedy. Borate wood treatments are used by the building industry itself to protect lumber, and pest professionals use borate products as a core tool. The cheap mineral and the professional tool are the same thing. Let me show you why it works, because the science is genuinely clever. Here's the science. Borate does two things at once that make it nearly ideal for wood protection. First, when you apply a borate solution to bare wood, it soaks in and the wood itself becomes toxic to anything that tries to eat it. A termite that bites into borate-treated wood ingests the borate, and borate disrupts the insect's ability to digest its food and extract energy. It essentially starves with a full stomach, its gut chemistry broken. And here's the part that makes it spread through the colony. Termites constantly groom and feed each other and share gut contents, so a poisoned worker passes it along before it dies, carrying the borate deeper into the population. Second, and this is why the building industry loves it, borate is a mineral salt, so unlike sprays that break down in months, borate stays locked in the wood for the life of the structure as long as it's not washed out by rain. It doesn't evaporate, it doesn't expire, and at the concentrations used on wood, it's far less acutely toxic to people and pets than the heavy old soil chemicals, which is part of why it's become a building industry favorite. The old-timers had a cruder version of this instinct, by the way. For centuries, builders charred the surface of wood or used naturally rot and insect-resistant heartwood for the parts touching the ground because they knew certain treatments made wood something insects wouldn't touch. Borate is the modern, cheap, understood version of that ancient wisdom. So now let me tell you exactly where this fits. And this is critical, because here's where people misunderstand what borate can and can't do. Borate is a wood treatment and a preventive shield. It is brilliant for protecting bare, accessible wood before there's a problem, and for treating exposed wood during a renovation. It is not a magic spray that cures an active infestation hidden deep in your finished walls, because you cannot get the borate into wood you can't reach, and you cannot reach a soil colony with it. So the honest, powerful use is this. Anytime you have bare wood exposed, you're building a deck, replacing a sill plate, finishing a basement, repairing a crawl space, building a shed, putting in fence posts, that is your golden window. You brush or spray a borate solution onto that bare wood and let it soak in, and you've made that wood permanently unappetizing and protected for the life of the structure for a few dollars. The professionals do exactly this to framing lumber before the drywall goes up. You doing it to your deck posts and your crawl space beams is the same move at the same low cost. That's where the $3 ingredient genuinely earns its name, not as a rescue, but as armor applied at the right moment. Now, here's the second secret, the factor almost everyone ignores, and it's the one that actually protects your house more than any treatment. Are you ready? Termites are a moisture problem and a contact problem before they're a bug problem, and you can make your home nearly invisible to them for free just by breaking the conditions they need. This is the old-timer wisdom that the chemical industry has no reason to advertise, because there's no profit in telling you to fix a gutter. Think about what they require: water and a bridge from soil to wood, so you take both away. You make sure water drains away from your foundation, not toward it. You clean the gutters, extend the downspouts, fix the grating so rain runs off. You fix every leak, especially in the crawl space and around the AC line, because a dry house is a house termites struggle to colonize. And you break every wood-to-soil bridge. You pull the firewood pile away from the house and up off the ground. You keep mulch pulled back several inches from the siding so the wood of your walls is never buried in damp organic matter. You make sure no deck post or step or fence butts wooden into bare earth where it shouldn't. And then the detection habit that costs nothing. A few times a year, you walk the perimeter of your foundation, inside and out, with a flashlight, and you look low. For those pencil-width mud tubes climbing the concrete, for wood that sounds hollow when you tap it, for a windowsill with discarded wings. 5 minutes, twice a year. That single habit catches termites at the cheap stage instead of the catastrophic one, and it's the most valuable thing in this entire video. So let me build you the complete system. The thing no single product gives you, because no company profits from the whole truth at once. The foundation is denying them moisture and bridges, gutters, grading, leaks fixed, firewood and mulch and wood contact pulled away from the house. That's free, and it does more than anything you can buy. The second layer is the borate armor. Every time bare wood is exposed during any project, you treat it, making your home's accessible wood permanently unappetizing for a few dollars a batch. The third layer is the detection habit. The twice-a-year flashlight walk looking for mud tubes and wings, so nothing ever goes years in silence. And the fourth layer, the one that completes the system honestly, is the professional. For the parts you cannot reach, the soil colony, the inside of finished walls, you get a professional inspection periodically, especially before you buy a home, and you bring in a pro at the first real sign. Because knowing when to call someone is not failure. With this pest, it's the smartest move there is. And the homeowner who understands everything I've just told you is the one who can't be oversold, can't be scared into the wrong treatment, and knows exactly what they're paying for. That's the whole system. Dry the house and break the bridges, armor the bare wood with borate, walk the perimeter twice a year, and bring in a pro for what you can't see. 4 layers. And the store only ever sells you the one can of repellent spray that does the least and can make it worse. Now let's do the math, because this is where it truly lands, and it's the most dramatic comparison in any of these. The average termite damage repair bill runs into the thousands of dollars, and a serious structural job can run tens of thousands. And remember, insurance typically won't cover it. A full professional termite treatment for an active infestation commonly runs anywhere from several hundred to a few $1,000s depending on the method and the house. Now compare that to prevention. A bottle of borate concentrate that makes gallons of wood treatment costs around $15 to $30, or a few dollars per project's worth. Fixing your grading and cleaning your gutters costs you a weekend and nothing else. The flashlight you already own. The perimeter walk is free forever. You are looking at, realistically, under $50 and a few weekends a year, standing between you and a 5-figure repair bill that your insurance won't touch. There is no pest where the gap between prevention and cure is this enormous. Pennies on this side, a second mortgage on the other. So let's bring this all the way home. Remember that silence from the beginning, the quiet chewing inside the wall, that no one ever hears until a baseboard crumbles. Now you understand why it's so dangerous, and you understand the things that actually matter. The colony lives in the soil, not your house, and reaches your wood across a bridge of moisture and contact you can take away for free. The repellent spray in the can does the least and can scatter them. The $3 borate is real and powerful, but as armor for bare wood at the right moment, not as a miracle rescue. The swarmers on your windowsill aren't the disaster. They're the warning the smart homeowner acts on. And the single most protective thing you can do costs nothing but a flashlight and 10 minutes a year. None of this was hidden because it's complicated. It was hidden because there's no profit on telling you to fix a gutter and walk your own foundation. The pieces were kept scattered on purpose, and the scattering was always the business model. But with this pest, the honest truth is also the one that saves you the most money you'll ever save. So here's what I'm asking you to do, and it's small, and it's free, and it might be the most important thing you do for your house all year. This weekend, take a flashlight and walk the entire perimeter of your foundation, low to the ground, inside the crawl space or basement if you have one, and look for a thin line of dried mud climbing the concrete. a pencil width tube where there shouldn't be one. And come back to this channel and tell me in the comments what you found down there at the base of your walls. Because most people have never once looked, and I want to know what you see when you finally do. If you find those tubes, you call a professional. That's not the moment for a home remedy. That's the moment your early warning just saved you thousands. If this pulled the curtain back for you even a little, subscribe and tap the bell, because this is exactly what we do here at Home Remedy Files. We go find the thing they quietly hoped you'd never look up, and we look it up anyway. Stay close, and go check those walls. There's a lot more buried out there, and we're only just getting started.